All right, here we are now in segment 5 of the epoxy training course on floor prep. We're going to go into great detail on this process because it is the most critical and important process in being able to be a successful outcome for your epoxy coating project. We're going to go into some live footage in video on various projects in the floor prepping. We're also going to address crack repair, chip repair, so that you can also know and have all the knowledge necessary for you to do a nice, neat, clean job in getting the floor completely ready to go. Overall, having that surface ready just like it would a piece of wood that you're going to paint or to stain. This is a very important process so that you end up having a beautiful outcome that you'll be super happy with. So as we go through the video clips and the photos in this segment here, I think that you'll glean all the detailed information that you'll need to make this a success and feel very confident going into it. When we're completed with this, I'll give you my concluding remarks afterwards. This is a quick snapshot and overview of the floor prepping process. You saw this in the outline and objectives earlier, but this is just another overview of the start to finish of getting your floor ready. If it's a garage floor and it's an older floor, you may have some contaminants in it, and this is going to be a good thing to get this thing all cleaned up so you don't have any issues of delaminations of your epoxy coating. So yours may be simpler. This is a snapshot of the tools that we're going to incorporate in the floor prep process. The details of each of these tools that are forthcoming here are going to be described in more detail in the tools and supplies segment number 3 that you've already reviewed. But this is just a rundown of all the tools that you're going to want to have prepared with and be ready to go with when you decide that you're ready to start this project and get it all prepped and pristine and pretty before you begin to apply your epoxy product. I hope that these are descriptive enough and helpful for you to be able to know exactly what it is beforehand that you're going to want to be prepared with so that you're ready to go and you're not missing anything. It's your choice as to whether or not these are going to be tools that you'll need or want to incorporate in your floor prep process, but these are what we totally and highly recommend that you have prepared. If you have cracks in your concrete and you would like to get those all patched in and filled, this segment right through here, this footage and video clips is going to demonstrate how we do that and what product that we recommend using. This example here of some of these cracks are pretty gnarly and deep and wide and long and far. The product that we're going to be recommending is this Dural 340. It's a non-sag product, but it's got some good rigidity to it so that it doesn't end up being too flexible, but rigid enough to be able to hold the cracks together and fill them in really nicely and grind off nicely too. This is an example of what we're going to do to prepare this particular product for applying on and over any of your cracks or chips or spalled areas in your concrete. First, what we do is we have to agitate each of the part A and part B. So this is a 2-component product that we're using. It's a heat reaction product, and keep in mind that it's got a very short pot life. You've got about 40 minutes roughly to be able to work with this in 70-degree temperatures. Once you've got those agitated in parts A and B, you're going to pour them out separately onto a surface that you can mix them on. In this case here, you can see that we're just using a bucket lid. You can use a bigger surface to put it on, a piece of cardboard or anything else that would be handy for you to be portable so you can move it around. Once you've got both parts A and B poured out onto your surface and you've got them in equal amounts, it's a 1-to-1 mix ratio, with this product. Once you feel like you've got a good balance and measured out a 1-to-1 ratio, then you'll go ahead and mix these two parts together. Then you got to be prepared to go to work. Once these are mixed together, the heat reaction begins, and so that's how two-part components typically work with epoxies. You'll experience this too with your epoxy coating. You'll have a lot more time, however, to work with it. So once this is all mixed together and you feel like it's all thorough and consistent, then you'll go ahead and begin to apply this onto your cracks and spalled and chipped areas of your concrete surface. So this will, the next few moments here will just demonstrate how that's to be applied so that you can see how it's put into place with a putty knife. You can use a margin trowel if you want to. You want to try to be as quick and efficient with this as you possibly can. At the same time, you want to try to clean up the outside edges of a crack like is demonstrated here, so you don't have a lot of grinding to do. You'll see that here in the next few moments here of the video. So once you've got those cracks filled and you feel content and you're happy with the way they look, that you've got them filled level and so that there's not a lot of settling or sagging or areas that are depressed in the crack itself, then you're going to let that dry. With this particular product, it'll be dry and ready for you to grind in about 4 hours. And then it's ready to smooth it out so that you don't have any of the rough edges or remnants or traces of residue left behind from your filling and patching. And so this is what we're going to use. We've got a 7-inch grinder. It's an angle grinder with a stone on there. We're using, in this particular case, we're using the Makita brand, and these are the size of stones that are threaded onto the arbor of the grinder, and then it's handy to be able to use this in getting down into control joint in the case here we're demonstrating. It does a good job of doing the job grinding off quickly. It's a little bit heavy to use because of that stone, but the stone actually in its weight helps you to grind it efficiently. This is what it looks like after it's been smoothed out, ground off, and it's all been swept up and nice and clean. What we're going to demonstrate here now is using a floor buffing or a floor sanding machine that you can just rent at your local hardware store. We're showing here that the cleat is a 16-inch cleat with a piece of sandpaper, a number 20 grit. Doesn't have to be 20. You can use 18 or 12 or even 10 probably. Really super rough so that you can get a profile on your concrete surface. The reason for this aggressive sandpaper is so that you can get enough of what we call a structural bonding surface area for your epoxy product to be able to bond onto and lock onto. If the concrete surface is too slippery, then you stand a super high risk of your epoxy coating delaminating. There's going to be a variety of different brand names of these floor buffers or sanders or a floor prep tool, however your rental service wants to categorize it, but essentially this is what you want to do to get this floor structurally sound and ready to receive your epoxy coating. This is to demonstrate the patterning that we like to use so that you get good coverage. You want to go both directions with it, and you want to get a good feel for it so that you are feeling confident that you got good coverage on it, and all of the areas from top to bottom and side to side and front to back are all sanded down so that you've got a good profile for your epoxy. This next segment here is just to show you some of the hand tools that will be used here in this process. The floor scraper is going to be used here, you'll see shortly, to take off some of the edges and the debris of cement that's splattered up on the foundation wall. Those little burrs that are on there, you want to get those off if you're going to cover your foundation wall, stem wall, that's sticking up above your slab here. with the epoxy itself too. So this is a good tool to use. If you want it more perfect, then you're going to want to use a grinder to get those lines and the patterns of the forms out of the foundation wall. Otherwise, those areas pretty much are covered when you're using the color chips. Those mask those areas and flaws in your foundation really quite well. Once you've got that all taken care of, then you're going to go over the entire area, make sure that it's all scraped off of anything that's sticking up on the surface or on the foundation wall. You're going to go ahead and sweep all that up and clean it up nice and neat. And you can go around and use a little hand sweeper to put it into a square mouth shovel like we're demonstrating here, and put it in a bucket as you go around to clean that up. Sweeping this up really good is going to help prevent a lot of dust, because the follow-up to the sweeping of the concrete surface is going to be using a blower. The blower is going to get all of the refined fine dust elements off of the concrete before we go into the vacuuming of the surface. So we're just showing here that we're going to use a leaf blower to clean off the surface now that we've got it all scraped and we've got it all sanded and swept. The ear guards are handy to have because it's going to be noisy using this equipment. Dust masks, or you can use these carbon filter dust masks to help filter the dust once you start to blow with your leaf blower. You can see here, crazy, how much dust is created when you blow with the leaf blower. This is necessary though. You've got to get this all off so that you get good adhesion and bonding with your epoxy. And keep in mind too, you're going to want to blow off everything. You want to blow off the garage door and all the trim, the ceiling and the walls, everything inside your garage. We're going to use a shop vac here. You can use any shop vac that you want to. These are the most efficient for cleaning off the surface in a real nice, thorough way. You can see here, as demonstrated here, you'll go over this fairly slowly so that you can be sure that you get all of the dust residue that the vacuum can pull up. And then you've got a surface now that's really super clean, but not just yet. We still have more to do, but as you can see here, you're going to want to go both directions with the shop vac so that you can ensure that you've got it cleaned up, similar to the way you were prepping the floor with the floor sander, going both directions. You're going to do the same with the shop vac, and you can see here how we drag that across the floor backwards is the best way to do this. This is the method that we've found to be the most efficient and effective for getting off the dust residue. You can see the traces of it that are still left behind, but now we're going to show how the rest of that's going to be cleaned up with a mop and a bucket. So here again, you can rent these tools at your tool rental center. You don't need to purchase these things, the shop vac being one of them. So as we demonstrate here, you're going to go over this entire area until you feel like you've got it cleaned up really nice, neat, and thoroughly. And typically we like to go both directions with the mop. Once you've done the mopping and you've done a good thorough job and you feel warm and fuzzy and confident that you've got it nice and clean, then you're ready to begin preparing the rest of the surroundings of your concrete project. In this case here, of course, you can see it's a garage floor. Then you start to do the masking and get everything all ready to go before you start to put down any epoxy coating whatsoever. We just demonstrate here how we use a 12-inch construction masking painter's tape, paper rather, with we like to use a 2-inch tape to put this and pin it up into place. Type of masking tape is the better tape for adhesion so that you don't have it pulling away from the wall as it is set there for the next few days, putting on multiple coats of your epoxy color coats, both the first and the second coat with your color chips if you're going to cast in color chips, and then you've got the clear coats as well that you're going to put on. So your masking is going to be in place about 3 or 4 days. So you want to be sure that you put it up there nice and secure so that you don't have to deal with it falling into your finish coat over the period of time that you're doing the application. Be sure to take your time and be thorough about this masking process so that you have a neat, clean line when you pull the masking off and you don't have issues with your epoxy coating bleeding underneath and behind any of your tape that you've applied against your surfaces. So I hope that you felt like you have seen all of the detail that you'd possibly need in the application of getting the floor prepped. All of the tools and equipment and materials that are associated and methodologies in putting those materials down to make this floor a beautiful specimen for you to have a successful outcome. And so with that now, just be prepared mentally, physically to go to work. Get down on your hands and knees and we'll get this stuff taken care of so that this slab of concrete or whatever your concrete project is you have in mind for this epoxy coating is going to have a perfect canvas for you to work off of so that it is a beautiful finish in the end. And we'll look forward to seeing you in segment 6 where we're going to apply the first color coat of your epoxy coating.